imagine how sick my army would be after 3 hours of tinkering with my composition. I'd probably sit there and be like, all right, I don't need 100 Marines. Maybe I need 95, and I would kill 5 of my Marines. And then I'd be like, no, I need 100 Marines and make 5 more. Be like, wait, I need 130 Marines and add 30 more and kill off some of my tanks.
But you know, in chess, like, I was notorious for always using like all 3 hours. I would actually be in a time crunch consistently.
Wow.
And
Man.
what would happen is, as soon as the match was over, I would be dead, like destroyed, because mentally you just can't focus for that long. It just takes way too much out of you. And that's why I really feel like in a best of 11, you do need to conserve your brain as much as possible. Leave the mind games, you know, very, very broad, and don't let your good maps go to waste. Make sure that you're really, really focusing on your good maps, like Daybreak for Zerg, or Zerg Break.
Andre, remember how you asked to play a chess game after this series? I think I'm gonna pass. I want to be able to have some energy today. Because, man, playing chess, playing this best of 11 is just mentally taxing, just like you said. Guys, we just got promised from Stephano that we're gonna see some amazing stuff. And by amazing, I hope he doesn't mean throw away 20 mutalisks instead of 10 this game. Because that's what happened in game number 1, and that set Stephano so far back. But both players have said their good lucks and have funs. Welcome to Daybreak. In the top right corner from Team Caron 3 Esports Club, it is Lucifron, Pedro Moreno. Just one of the 2 great Europeans from Spain. His brother is equally as good. People call him a patch Zerg, but Vortex is legit talented at this game as well. But so is his other Zerg in the bottom left. Andre, who do we have?
It is Lucifron from Evil Genius's Raid Call, rather. And Stephano, let's be honest, he's just been...
You mean Stephano?
Why? What did I say?
You know, you said Lucifron, man.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm going crazy.
Lucifron's playing himself. It's like one of those ultimate reveals. It's like all of a sudden Looper became real in StarCraft. Like you play yourself, but 30 years. How sick would that be, man? And like the only one person survived. The old you or the you in 30 years. Who would be better at StarCraft, Andre? You now or the Andre who's 55? That's what blows my mind. And you'd be like, the sickest of mind games, Frodan, is that the game's been going on for 30 years. Yeah, and I've been playing myself.
Let's not talk about that because Looper was an awful movie.
Oh, come on. It was okay.
It's
at best. No. Or at worst, it was an okay movie. I loved it.
It was garbage.
It was great.
Okay, so one thing to note about Lucifron, it's kind of interesting that he doesn't go command center first on this map, but he does so on Ohana. I think he was a little bit worried about the early game statement where Stephano even says, are you scared? Because this command center is coming considerably late, and on Daybreak, you don't really expect your opponent to 6 pool or even 10 pool. I don't even think 10 pool will come in time. That being said, he says I walled with 3 Raxes. That being said, I feel like Lucifron is playing a little bit timid, to be completely honest, because I think the command center first is just altogether a superior build if you know your opponent isn't putting any pressure on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It is Daybreak, though, a map that passivity is encouraged, where, you know, sitting back and just macroing and just doing some minor harass here and there, especially with standard Hellions, is okay. And in fact, you can follow it with so many different things. Aggressive options, like, for example, Bio Hellion, which is what Polt loves doing in TVZ. You can go back and go for 3 command center really quick. You can go for Hellion Banshee into Mech, Hellion Banshee into Bio. All kinds of things are viable and more, and that's why Daybreak has been really figured out, Andre. We've had some really comprehensive stats on Daybreak from NASL, and it's pretty mutually agreed 50-50, right?
Yes.
Split?
Yes, Daybreak is one of the most
it for every matchup?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think PVZ is a problem.
Oh, this just in. PVZ is still a tough matchup to figure out.
But that being said, it's very interesting. Stephano's actually getting a Roach Warren and as well as that a hatchery, or excuse me, a lair. So I'm not sure what he's going to do. +1 missile attack. I have no clue what to expect right now. Like this is
going for a mass
so
Roach
interesting.
attack or something? He is on 3 gas.
It's weird that you get a +1, which makes me think he's going to line something up you know, about 2.5 minutes from now.
Oh, I remember one time seeing Stephano going for a 2-base lair attack with Roach, Bane, Zergling while he was taking his 3rd base, and he was able to drone up right after. It was kind of like a, I know it sounds really weird, but like a eco Roach, Bane attack in a way. And he lined it up with +2.
And Stephano had to think up this build. What?
Do you see what I noticed from that one?
Oh, God.
This is, whoa, this is super interesting. Maybe he's just going straight up for a Nidus Roach all-in. Or maybe he's even going to do it at the front of the base, who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised
This is crazy.
if it's just like right here.
Well, think about it, Andre. What's the biggest struggle sometimes of opening any kind of Roach early on when they have Banshees is the distance of walking to their base.
That's right.
What if you just close that distance?
Oh, look at this. Lucifron suspects something yet again. I love this play coming out from him. So he's saying, okay, my opponent hasn't grabbed his 3rd base yet. This is Daybreak. I need to suspect something immediately. So instead of getting 2 Banshees, which is the standard, he switches over to Siege Tank, gets Siege Mode right away, and he says, I need to be careful of some sort of all-in, and that's exactly what's happening. Now, he needs to close up his base. He has a little bit of time to do that. He sees roaches out in the field. This should be a great indicator now. It's like, I need to be very, very careful. 2-base roach all in. He's starting to think, like, I don't understand what you're doing, but there it is. 3rd base. The Nidus network is going to spew out a couple of roaches, and now Lucifron, look at that, immediately plays the bunker, puts up the siege tank, and this should be deflected pretty nicely. Now, I think the SCVs might have to evacuate completely. He doesn't have enough siege tanks to actually defend all of the areas. But the Banshee gets back in time. I think Lucifron is going to defend this no problem.
Lucifron is going to lose a supply depot. He does. Stephano also will have a burrow on his roaches so he can, I guess, deflect the harass. Lucifron trying to get a tank in position. Stephano's trying to dive it all at the same time. Will he be able to burst it down? He does. And is now able to, I guess, protect the mineral line. Meanwhile, Stephano is just making queens. No real attempt for a 3rd base, so this attack is still very much in progress. Queens have now arrived to the battlefield where Stephano can also transfuse the roaches and even take out the Banshee because the Banshee was not able to get any kind of cloak off. Lucifron is now, his natural is completely under siege. He can't really protect it. The siege tank range won't even really be enough to be able to push all the way down the ramp. And I guess Lucifron's bunker position will continue to help him a lot because his Marauder will have extended range. But Stephano's attack is more than enough, and Stephano is starting to tech up from here. He's also going to be expanding at the same time. What is going on? It's crazy.
Yeah, he has an economic advantage right now for a little bit until meals actually get placed. So there it is. You know, I have to feel like Stephano did enough damage here. I mean, taking out that 1 siege tank actually helps quite considerably. He was able to, Lucifron was able to fend this off for the most part. Also wants to target down
things like mules as well.
Yeah.
But the Queen's Transfuse is keeping them alive for so long they can tank damage for a considerable amount of time. Stephano being very meticulous about making sure to transfuse. But he does miss it on one of the Queens because he didn't have enough energy. Still denying a lot of mining from Lucifron. This is kind of just such an awkward situation that you're not used to. Stephano again burrows his roaches just to regen them and trying to, I guess, encourage Lucifron to come down as well so that he can get some damage onto the units. Stephano also has his queens, I guess, just poking at the natural. I think it'd be really cool if Stephano also dropped some creep tumors and just sent the queens back home.
That would be fantastic.
Like prevent the 3rd from being able to go up, maybe even drop on the floor. Stephano.
Stephano, definitely a cute build here. I really didn't expect it to do that much damage. That was really, really awesome. From here, let's go and check his base. You can see income 76 harvesters at this point, and he has this 3rd base established. Lucifron still does not have Lucifron still does not have his 3rd. Oh no, he has his 3rd command center. Excuse me. So he can still get his 3rd base pretty fast.
He has a nice SCV count actually. He's going to be in the 60s very soon. It's just that Stephano is able to get his 3rd base during this entire pressure. Stephano, it's one of those moments where you thought you were really creative, and then all of a sudden your teacher tells you in English class that someone already wrote that. That happened to me once before.
That's terrible.
And both these guys are actually giving you a little bit of insight into what's been going on in the EU ladder, saying there's a drop variant of roaches, and then nice inside the main. That's actually kind of cool, because some people have been experimenting with roach drop when Terran's vulnerable for 3rd command center.
You don't really see that in NA server.
No. What do we see on NA server a lot, Andre?
You see all-ins a lot.
See all-ins. It's like you see you move out with the Overlord and you see the proxy barracks, like, okay. And then, and then you deflect a 2 racks and like, surely they have to be expanding, and then you see 3 more racks in their base, like, okay. And then you just F10.
You only need 2 more.
It's like, yeah, you know, the follow-up is after 2 racks is to, you know, double command center, right? It's like, no, they 2 racks again.
Oh, it's
and
not.
when you mean 2 racks again, you
centers.
add 4 more racks.
Yeah, definitely not the European style. But you can already see, I mean, Lucifron is slightly behind, but he has a considerable siege tank count. That's going to help with this incoming push. I do think that he should wait for 2-2 though, but you can see the 2-2 is going to be considerably later. I mean, he has basically, what is that, 2 minutes to actually get as many units as possible. I think he'll probably get to the 160, 170 area for sure. We'll see how powerful this 2-2 timing is going to be, but Lucifron going ahead and trying to pressure what looks like the 4th base. I don't even know if he knows about this. I don't think so. Now he sees a glimmer of that, but Stephano already on top of things with Zerglings just pouncing.
For perspective of how late both players 2-2 is, Hive Tech is done and Ultra's Cavern is already finished, so
oh my god,
it's gonna be super delayed. If the Ultras can get in time for this bio push, because Lucifron trying to hit the 2-2 very nicely onto the 4th and 5th. Stephano's double expanding. I think he's trying to bait Lucifron into an attack so that way he can have his Ultras timed out very nicely. Stephano also dealing with the drop just with enough Infestitarians and Fungals. Lucifron's starting to make his way to the top left, but that's exactly where Stephano wants him to be if he can corner him, but the Ultras still need a few seconds to pop.
That's right. Now the 4th base will be given up here. Stephano obviously cannot try to stop that from happening, but as you said, I mean, how he's going to punish Lucifron is you're not going to leave here. All of these units are dead, and that's actually a critical blow.
Oh my goodness, Stephano.
GG.
He's calling the GG before it even happens. Here we go. Let's see it. Let's put it to the test. The Zerglings go for the perfect flank on the tanks. Tanks not able to focus the Ultras down at all. Lucifron losing almost all of his army. And just like that, the magic 8-ball says, yes, you're going nowhere.
He's able to pick up with a couple of units, but Stephano over here. Oh no, Lucifron, are you going to lose your medevacs? Yeah.
I guess so. The medevacs are now trapped as well. Lucifron trying to move out to his 4th base, but realistically, he has no tank support to be able to push out. He can deflect this harass, or maybe he lets his... Oh, the Zerglings go up the ramp. I thought that supply depot wall was secure, but Lucifron going to lose more stuff as well, and this is just adding insult to injury. The 4th base is on fire. Lucifron also under attack at the 3rd base. The SCV's not evacuating time. Ultralists are very hungry. But I guess they just had to wet their tusks at this point, because the 3rd base is the one that's going to drop Andre.
Yeah, Stephano can't really push into this position, though. It's really not going to be the best, although maybe he just has too much stuff, Frodan. Yeah, I think it's going to be that. When it comes down to it, Lucifron, I mean, obviously taking way too much damage from the beginning part. Even though he had everything set up, it's just quite a shame. Stephano taking his opponent out. The score is now 1-1, but wow, really cool play from the beginning stages. Stephano showing... it's interesting that he went for +1 missile attack as well, I think.
Why is it that much interesting, though? Does a Roach +1 help that much against, like, Marines and tanks? Like, does it help that much?
I think it's because it 3-shots.
Oh, well,
three shots SCVs?
Well, also because I think the Queens have actual good DPS when you get the +1 missiles. So I think that's kind of interesting, because you send a Roach Queen attack, and they both utilize that missile upgrade. And Queens actually have more DPS than a Stalker, for the point of reference. At least a Stalker attacking a non-armored unit. So I think that's really cool incorporation. And it was really cool because, again, it hits at a time when Lucifron was in the middle of switching. If he wasn't in the middle of switching, he'd be in the middle of doing upgrades for a mech. So either way, he'd be pretty vulnerable based off the current metagame. So I think Stephano was really trying to innovate. And I think there's a lot of potential. Of course, I think there's different points you can refine, maybe.
Yeah. If I want to refine anything, I would probably have those Hellions and Banshees actually at the 3rd base rather than trying to help defend, because the Queens and the Roaches were able to take down that composition pretty nicely. Normally, when you're going Hellion Banshee, you're actually dodging the main armies and then just harassing the Queens as much as possible, or harassing the Roaches with just the Banshees. But denying the 3rd base would have been equally as good, and then you have your Siege Tank plus Marine Marauder to actually defend against the Roaches. I think that might have been a little bit better, But, I mean, it's Stephano we're dealing with, man. That's really, really
You
tough.
can't ever really say this will work against Stephano because clearly what Lucifron was trying to do didn't work out for him. Guys, we'll be back with game number 3 right after this. This is the best of 11 HomeCraft series, second day between Stephano and Lucifron. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a minute.